Somebody sneezed. Okay, nice. Good. I lost my train of thought. Never mind. Yeah. A bit of a note for A2. Ребята, пожалуйста, не толпитесь в группах с первой по третью. Пожалуйста, растянитесь как-нибудь с первой хотя бы по седьмую. Да, вот не толпитесь, пожалуйста, в первых группах. And please be realistic. So please don't go to C1 if you're A2. Please don't do that. Please don't go to A2 if you're C1. Also, there is no reason for that. So please be realistic, okay? It is very hard to be realistic to assess your level of English, but please try to be realistic, okay? And if you don't like your room, or if this is not your level, you can go to a different one, okay? You can change rooms. So please try. Your voice in Russian sounds a bit different. Yes. Okay, that's a funny. Okay, that's okay. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. My brain is off today. Anyways, yeah, you can go to different rooms and try different rooms. My voice in Russian sounds a bit different. This is so interesting, but when you speak several languages, it's like you have several personalities. Because when you speak a language, you behave differently. So I speak three languages fluently. Well, Russian, of course, my native language, English and Serbian. And I lived, of course, in Russia, in America, and in Serbia. So except for the language, I also picked up a lot of ways to behave, a lot of ways to react that people have. And then I feel like I have three personalities. So each time when I have to speak a different language, I feel like that's a new person inside me who speaks a different language. That's very interesting. And it's really cool. It's really cool. So I really think that I behave differently depending on the language that I'm speaking currently. So type in the chat if you have the same problem. I mean, that's not a problem, but this is so cool. Yeah, so type in the same story. Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. So people really say that speaking several languages is having several personalities because you're different. And it's 11 in the morning. So if I spoke Russian, just trust me, I wouldn't be smiling because it's 11, Saturday 11. So yeah, English makes life so yeah, new language, new life. It's a common story that you have. Yeah, okay. Just a reminder how to select a room. You're gonna have a window that appears automatically. Not now, not now. Later, when I tell you later, okay, not now. You're going to see a window that appears automatically. You will have to select a room yourself. If you don't see the window, breakout rooms or more buttons should help you. If you don't understand what's going on, how to get into the room, blah, 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 why you're here and which year that is, you can just type in the chat your level and I will help somehow. Especially if you're connecting from an iPad, that sucks. You will not be able to see the rooms. Yeah, you can join different rooms to find the best one. That's important. Yeah, that is it for the rules. And as I said, today we're going to talk about education and experience. And here's my first question. So type in the chat. What do you think is more important today, education or experience? What is more important to you today, nowadays? Okay, experience. Both of them. They are connected. Interesting. Education, Daria says. Both. Okay. Education. Experience is education. Okay, that's been an interesting approach. Good. Only experience. Okay, I expected somebody to say that it really depends on what you do, because usually there is this answer also. But okay, so normally people say both. Okay. Do you think that getting education, that's your personal story, do you think that getting education has been helping you in life by far? So in the chat, type yes or no. If you think that you wasted your time in university, you should say no. If you think that you used your education for real, you can say yes. Okay, so mostly people say yes. Only a few people said no. Interesting. For networking. Okay. So most people say yes. Okay, that's a nice statistics, because for me education was key to get a job of my dream that I used to have. So yeah. Okay, the next thing is that what is the okay what is the my first education saved my life. Interesting. My first job, so for me my first job saved my life, but okay. Daria, that's an interesting story. You can share that with us if you want. So what is the best thing about education? You can type in the chat one word. What is the best thing about education, about formal education, when you go to college or when you go to university? Freedom. Freedom. Where did excuse me, where did you study? I don't get it. Base. Brain development. I agree. No education, it's psychology. Okay. Makes you think. Okay. Anybody else? The best thing about formal education, new knowledge. Mathematical base. Well, I didn't really have any math in university because I was like fully humanitarian kind of thing. New mind, soft skills, network, diploma. Yes, diploma is the most important part. Okay, what is the worst thing about education? The worst thing about going to university? Price. Okay, that's true. Prices have been crazy recently. Boring. Fully agree. Unnecessary info. Okay. Curriculum, system. Is anybody going to say crazy teachers? Oh, yes, Oksana, bad teachers. Yes. Marketing teacher. Daily routine. Anybody's gonna say no money. That was my problem. I was a poor student. Sometimes it's useless. All principles. Yeah. Old approaches, lots of useless information, boring lectures. So, complexity, deadlines. So that was only my problem, right? I had zero money when I was a student. Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much, guys. We're going to watch a video from a guy who studied in Harvard, and he says one interesting thing, and I would like us to reflect on that. Let's try. I hope that you're all going to hear the sound. Let's check. Okay, that's a reality check. So please type yes in the chat if you can hear. Okay, good. Okay, let's watch.
Ever since I was young, my dad talked to me about three things. The number one thing was getting into Harvard. The number two thing was making lots of money. And the number three thing was investment banking. And that's exactly what I did. I got into Harvard. My junior year, I worked at Blackstone. And theoretically, this should be everything I ever wanted to do because that's what my parents wished they had, also growing up poor. And I was just like, I actually hate this. I think the number one piece of advice is from Steve Jobs. This world was built by people no smarter than you. Growing up, I really thought my parents knew what was best and right for me. And it was a learning process. Like, they actually don't know. Their understanding of the world is very different from how the world actually is today. And what they tell me, even if they want the best, it might not necessarily be right. Ever since I was young.
That is it. So I have two interesting points here. First of all, the world was built by people no smarter than you. That's interesting. And number two idea is that the world is changing so fast that you cannot really understand what's going to be good for you in a few years. So these are two interesting things that I picked up from this video. That's why I published it here. Sonia says yes, absolutely. So I used to have a friend. We studied together, and she got into Harvard for free. She's a super smart and bright person, and she was actually disappointed because she said that they have the same problems: boring lectures, outdated information, lack of practical approach, blah blah blah. So you never know. Okay, let's move on. And for our speaking session, I have 7 questions today. You're going to work again in groups. You're going to have 30 minutes to talk about the questions. In your opinion, how much is Harvard semester? I don't know. Actually, to be honest, because I've never checked. I've never wanted to be a Harvard student. But I know that she got a full ride. So she received financial support and it was free for her. But I'm sure it's hell expensive. But I think that MC of Harvard of Harvard. I think she got into the political school of Harvard. But the problem with Harvard is that it's not that expensive, actually, to be honest, but it's super hard to get into. So it's very competitive. So that's the problem to my mind. But okay, so in your opinion, what is more important, education or experience? Why do you think so? So just elaborate on the topic. Do you believe in success stories of people who dropped out of school? Dropped out means didn't finish school or university, like Steve Jobs. Do you believe that you really can be a successful person if you drop out of school, or it's just 1 person, 2 persons, 3 persons? That's it, exceptions. Should education be free? A very controversial topic. Should everyone get higher education? Do you think that formal education is always outdated, or there is a way to keep up? What are the advantages? Sorry, I missed the article. What are some advantages and disadvantages of formal education? Boring question. Are education and making lots of money related somehow? Or you can have a bright education and be poor, or you can not have any education and be rich. This world was built by people no smarter than you. Do you agree? So here are the questions that I would like you to discuss. Let's get started. I will send the questions to our Telegram channel, and you're going to have 30 minutes to talk about the questions. People say unfortunately don't count me. Okay, fine, I wasn't going to. Okay, anyways, yeah, so I will share the questions under the post with the link. So where you have the link, under this post you will see the questions. And let's get started. So let me open some rooms, a few rooms. Let me open a few rooms, 30 of them. Okay, and yeah, and let me bring back the slide with the logic. Okay, so here it is. Yeah, so please join a room. If you don't see the window, if you don't see a window with rooms, let me know in the chat. I will help somehow if I can. Maybe I can't. Anyways, please join a room. You're going to have 30 minutes to talk. Please don't draw on my slides. You're going to have 30 minutes to talk about the questions. I have a ping today. Sorry, it's too early for me.
I'm from St. Petersburg. And you?
I'm from Novosibirsk, and we have the same gloomy, snowy, a little bit depressing.
Uh-huh. I didn't hear the name of your city.
Novosibirsk.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone.
Hello, how are you?
Pretty good. It's Saturday morning. And as Lisa said, yeah, English club, speaking club in the morning is
It's sort of warming up for our
yes,
brains.
exactly. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we have the one more participant, Sasha.
Hello,
Yeah.
ladies. Hi.
Hello.
Sorry, my plan doesn't let me do the camera support, but anyway, I can talk and listen.
Shall we start? I've taken a picture of questions, and if you want, I can read them out loud for you.
Mm-hmm.
In your opinion, what is more important, education or experience? Why do you think so?
Hey to
Uh,
everyone.
hello.
How's it going?
Pretty well.
Do you like the topic? Do you like today's topic?
So yeah, the topic is quite controversial, and since we have, I think that we are middle-aged people, and we have education, and yes, this theme is hot for us to discuss. Returning to the question, what is more important, education or experience? Honestly, I think that experience is more important than education. I am the Gen Z, and I think that when you have more experience than educational or language. In fact, you can take and get to know all education, all knowledge through the experience. And thus, I think that experience is more important, but education gives you the diploma that is also important for your future career or for your future life.
Okay. I think that education actually that it depends on your specialization. And if you're an IT specialist, of course, it's okay not to have an education, but have to have a lot of skills, knowledge, and projects. Of course, it's okay in IT sphere. It's okay, but if you are a psychologist, for example, it's impossible to work without the education. Any degree, at least the least degree of that you can work with, this is a bachelor degree. So I'm totally sure that if you are a psychologist or a doctor or veterinarian, yeah, it's severely crucial to have education. So my opinion, it depends on specialization.
Yeah, I agree with you. So Valentina, what do you think?
What I think, actually, I find this very question pretty weird and tricky, because I don't know when it happened, why we separate these two very phenomena, education and experience. Actually, they accompany each other. And actually, if we discuss this, if we have take a retrospective look at this picture, at this question, we can find that they are like two crabs who clutched each other and they are moving together. And actually, once again, I will exaggerate my idea. I don't understand why we compare these two phenomena. I don't understand. And what's more, speaking about positions and different jobs, I believe everyone, every of the participants would leave doctor's cabinet if we find out he didn't gain a proper medical degree. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Sasha, it's your turn.
Me personally think that education is not so important in our lives if you are not going to be employed in post-Soviet countries. I mean, in most cases, especially if we don't talk about, as I said, Soviet countries, post-Soviet countries, and so on. Maybe Germany and France a little bit. But most of this stuff, like in UK and US, you can get certificate even though you have some experience. Especially, you have a lot of courses on YouTube, on Udemy or whatever. There's a lot of streaming platforms all over the world. About maybe 20-something platforms, from Bilibili to I don't know what. from a lot of platforms, so you can get all your skills that you need. I mean, sometimes you need to pay for them, sometimes you can find for free, but anyway, your skills is your skills. So if you want to pass the Oracle certificate, just like you just pay for their certificate and you'll be hired just because you just convince them that you have your skills. In that case, I mean, regular education probably important in mostly that you are building the relationship with your core students, core teachers, and so on. I mean, if you're talking about the Harvard, as Lisa told us, technically, I don't know, have you ever been there? It's not actually a university. It's a network of people. So they don't really teach there. They just they have the test cases. You can watch online on harvard.edu if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, she was right when she said that it's hard to get there, because the way how they get into the Harvard, it's not like regular competition. It's like competitions between the tops. So like half of the faculties, like political science if I'm not mistaken, some business and other stuff, you should be kind of top of the company, GM or CAO or whatever. So if like medicine, maybe some other stuff. I mean, but also you have EDX, if I'm not mistaken, summer courses in Harvard. It's not for free, but it's about like 4,000, 5,000 bucks a semester. It's not expensive if we compare with the regular 40, 50,000 a semester. Yeah, of course you can get this scholarship, as Lisa told us, and get all your education, tuition will be covered. But you should be really, really smart and lucky to get to 100% covering for your for your scholarship. So it's a challenge.
We got you. Thank you, Sasha. And Valentina, I wanted to add to your.
Да, пожалуйста.
It depends, but first of all, in the education, you need to study, in order to get I don't know, something, maybe to at least to gain some experience in the future.
You've got some education yourself, or how's it going with you? You studied somewhere?
Yeah.
Or you currently are studying? I don't know.
Currently, I in general, I study like mostly by myself. Learning something new. But I used to study. I used to be a student, but that wasn't particularly useful in my case, because I have, I don't know, there's a lot of health problems that
like didn't finish school or university but succeeded.
Of course, I think there are a bunch of. I think it's rare, but still. But it's hard to say, to be honest, because we don't know the statistics. It would be easier to talk about it if we had some statistics. We know just some big guys that got a lot of money and tell their stories that they got dropped out from school one day, and they tell us the story of success. But I think there are a lot of people that we don't know that got successful in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think like for younger people, it might be kind of misleading because they follow this mindset that I don't need any kind of education to succeed in life, to achieve something great. And they just stopped even like some educating themselves and end up in like this very bad situation. So I believe that these stories, of course, they can happen. It's true, but they are pretty much rare, and it depends on the person, on the personality. If the person is like resourceful enough, if the person is has like this critical thinking, this business acumen, like if they know what they're doing without like this formal education. Because if you're not smart enough, then maybe it's like there is no point for trying something like that. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you on that. So it seems to me it's like a survivorship bias. You know what I mean, yeah? So like few examples of very successful people everyone knows, and like, they're supposed to drop their education in the middle, and you don't know them, like Steve Jobs, and not sure about Bill Gates. He dropped.
Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry. I have to go, but yeah, have a nice day and the conversation. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, and we all know that stories of successful people, but we don't know like thousands of stories of people who failed, dropped and failed.
People who dropped out the school, didn't finish school or university, like Steve Jobs, who ready to start.
Who wants to start?
Okay, I am started. I think this is a specific period of the world when usually in USA was a situation when people without education could has had chance to create unicorn. Now, I think another situation. A lot of world has a complexity. A lot of knowledge need to create startup. When you create startup, I try going to startup incubator, try it, and it's need a lot of knowledge because you alone and you put knowledge about a lot of things before you could create team. And now I think it's impossible. In this time, yes, a lot of years ago, it's possible. Now I think no. I finished. Anything else?
I agree with that. I think it's quite exceptional people that can do this kind of stuff. Do the
the whole business create something really great. I think it's you need to be a quite exceptional person. You need to have some your own experience, your own knowledges, and your own vision. That's my point.
Anything else?
Dmitry, can you read the question once more?
I can read, Fox. Do you believe in success stories of people who dropped out of the school, didn't finish school or university, like Steve Jobs?
Okay, in my opinion, that it's possible. So, because I know a lot of people, who gave up school, but anyway, you have to be, in order to get success, you have to be disciplined. You have to set your goals, and you have to make. You have to take some steps, in order to make it happen. So I think that it's possible to be successful, even you don't have any education.
Wouldn't mind if I re-ask you, what do you think, what does the success mean?
Success?
I understand this word. I mean, what means success in this question? Because everybody has different explanation of success. Somebody get a lot of money, is he successful or not? Somebody had divorce, but he's still GM of the company, is he successful? If we know Steve Jobs, and does it mean that he's successful? If his company was ruined in 1997 because of Microsoft, was it success?
The same question. Yes.
So we need to find out what is the, some definition mean. What is a success? What is a, not success, like failure? I don't know.
Failure, if you have divorced, maybe you don't, you are success, you don't have success, for example, in a family, and if you lose your job, it's also failure. It means that you are not success in your job. I don't know, there are different kinds of.
But like if we're talking about Steve Jobs, he didn't lose the job because he was actually creating the jobs. So I mean, if you are a contractor,
I know, but
so you're losing the contracts, or you're losing your, like other participants, but not the job. It's another, way of understanding the success.
All student which I know who breaking out school now in prison. It's my experience.
Dramatic experience, I would say.
Yeah. He live in a not so good area, but part of us finished university, part of us goes to prison.
Because maybe it's also relates with the some countries like post-Soviet countries, like.
Yes, I think yes, because in a lot of other countries, people lives in different regions. One neighborhood has very rich, was very rich, and another was very poor. I think in Soviet Union, no difference between part of the towns.
Because you see, if we're talking about, for example, I don't know, like Russia, for example, we have discrimination in this country. If they hire you as a person, they would like to ask, do you have education or higher education? Like if you in US, for example, nobody cares about your education. It can be kind of a question: do you have, bachelor degree, a master's degree? But usually people ask about your certificate or your real skills, and nobody care about your real diploma or your real 5 years in school. I mean, in university. But if you have enough skills, who cares?
Yes, I agree with you because now in Israel the same situation, but a lot of vacancies need formal level.
Because country is too small, I suppose. If the country would be a half size of US, for example, and you have a huge market and a huge vacancies in that kind of area. So if you have I don't know, like several million vacancies, so in that case, it wouldn't be formal. It will be totally informal, I suppose.
I think it's related with only human resource requirements because people don't want to spend money for segregate people has experience. No, human resource has a formal rules and to second stage of interview, they have only people with formal rules. It's more simplify for human resource manager.
Probably. Anybody else wants to add anything? Any other ideas?
No.
Okay, third question. Should education be free? Should everyone get a higher education? Who could start it? Because I need 30 seconds interaction.
I can start. I think it would be great if all education would be free, but we all know that it can be the truth.
It depends on the country, I suppose. For example, if we're talking about some kind of Islamic countries or
But I think still thinking that higher education is what all the people needs.
I mean, if you look at the Middle East countries, it's still kind of, I wouldn't say not only inappropriate, sometimes it's forbidden for a lot of people, especially for females in these countries. So you shouldn't forget about this, Muslim laws of half of the world. I mean, of half of this, Middle East world. So I mean, if we're talking about the other countries like Europe or like North and South America and maybe like Eastern Europe and all this Asia stuff, maybe it's more or less about these countries.
But yes, that's why I think the education should be free. But if you want some more like diplomas, like prestigious universities for really good jobs in some America big companies, I think that kind of education never be free.
They also have scholarships. If you said that what Lisa said about Harvard, they have scholarships. The only thing that if you want to go to Harvard, you don't really need to be smart, but you also have to be competitive with others. So it's not only about your smart, it's also about the money and about the network. I know that my previous boss, he was GM of Coca-Cola, and for him it was easy to get to the Harvard because you have to be on some kind of GM position. If you're not GM, you should be, I don't know how smart or how, how rich you should be to get there. But it depends on where you go in. Like business administration is one question. If you go to some kind of law in Harvard, or what, medicine in Harvard, or what, because there's, if I'm not mistaken, about 15 different faculties. It depends where you go in. If you're talking about some other universities like Berkeley, Stanford, what else? Davis, if I'm not mistaken, UCLA, like University of California in in San Diego and Los Angeles. In some cases it's expensive, but Caltech, for example, or MIT, I know they pretty much expensive, about probably 25,000 a semester if you're not in a scholarship, if they're not covering your education. But there's a chance you can get there for free, or more or less for free.
For my opinion, education, first point, everyone didn't need has high education, because a lot of profession not need education, but this profession need for other people. And education need a filter. This is a filter could be about smart people, about financial, but it's graduate level of the students. It's very important, because only motivated students could be learn in high school and university, because it's important. If student not motivated, no result of the education. What type of motivation? Money, knowledge, level of IQ, doesn't matter, but high school need high motivation. It's very important for this system. And I think this process could started in a school, because I like difference between Soviet Union system, classical system, and British system, European system, and USA system in a school education. In Soviet Union, all people, all children learn together for one books. It's very important. And another I see now in Israel, different books in the middle school, different classes, and who want learn will be learn. It's important. It's first step to high education, but only for part of the peoples. I'm finished.
So I really hope that you enjoyed the session with your partners. Usually, before you know that, so you know the routine. So we're going to have some reflection. Then I'm going to take the picture. Then we're going to be done with that. Okay, Daria has a dog this time. Look at this. We have a dog participating in the class. Anyways, so usually I ask for some feedback, not even feedback, I ask for some reflection. So if you learned something interesting from your partners, or if you came to some interesting conclusion, or if there is some interesting secret information that you would like to share with all of us here, this is your chance. Just be very short, be very concise. Don't speak for way too long. So do we have anybody who wants to share something with everyone here? Usually we have a couple of volunteers. Do we have anyone today? Okay, Daria, go ahead. Just be short.
Okay, I'll try. I want to say that one of my partners gave me an idea that yes, of course, Steve Jobs quit his studying, but not only Steve Jobs were building this great company, Apple, and not only he was doing that, but thousands of educated people. So I don't believe that quitting studying or a university or a college is a sign of success.
Okay, thank you so much. I absolutely agree. Actually, that's absolutely true because you can quit. Actually, I believe that you can quit college to start a startup. But when you start a startup, you need educated people in your team. There is no other way. Good. Okay. Anybody else who wants to share something with us? Anybody else? We usually have some volunteers. Come on, at least one more person who is brave enough to share something.
Can I?
Go ahead, Lera.
Okay, so it was an interesting idea from my group, and it was interesting for me that maybe sometimes when people they don't pay for the education, they don't appreciate it and they don't value it. And I didn't think about these like point of view in terms of this topic. So yes, it was just like very short. I don't know, sum up the conversation from our group.
Okay, that's very interesting. Guys, raise your hand if you agree. If you don't pay for the education, you don't value it. Raise your hand if you agree. Okay, we have only a few people. Okay, I got my Okay, we have 3 people.
I don't know where to hand or to where I can find the hand.
Okay, that really, I think that really depends on the situation. Yeah, I also didn't pay for my education, and I can say that first of all, it was completely useless, and I feel bad that I wasted my only chance to get my education in that particular university where I studied. But at the same time, I got my first job only because I had that education. So it's always black and white. You cannot really like. Well, anyways, but that's an interesting point of view. I don't maybe appreciate the particular education that I got, but I definitely appreciate a chance to get an education for free. So yeah, bearing in mind that if some people will pay and don't value, and some people won't pay and will value. Yeah, what if my parents said? Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I from the very beginning, like I'm from a poor family, so I always knew that my only chance is the budget paid education. Otherwise, I'm gonna be stuck in human forever. So, okay. Anyways, do we have anybody else, or we can proceed? Valentina, go ahead.
Thank you. The idea I wanted to mention at the beginning of our session, you, Elizaveta, mentioned the idea to avoid topics like politics, religion, and so on and so forth. But I believe when we talk about such topic as education, it's impossible to avoid such topic as politics, because from my point of view, all these top universities are mostly about for extremely tiny percentage of people who represent the highest level of world society. Thank you.
Well, it's not that kind of politics. Of course, you can talk about that politics. You cannot talk about wars and blah, blah, blah. But I absolutely agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Such universities as Harvard, they are built for particular people. If you are poor and you get into Harvard, you're the exception, not the rule. Yeah, by the way, Harvard has a lot of free resources. So they have a lot of free resources on YouTube. They have a lot of, so yeah, you can use them. The thing is that you don't get the diploma. Well, but it depends on what you need. Okay, we have the last person, Aramais. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing, but anyways.
That's okay. That's okay. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you for these extremely important topics. Yeah. And what about self-education, by the way? Is it connected with these kind of questions you said? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we normally talked about only formal education because you cannot really count self-education. So I don't know. Raise your hand, everyone. Raise your hand if you think that self-education should never stop. I think that everyone's gonna raise their hands because this is kind of the normal thing that we all believe in. Okay, but we cannot argue that that you cannot prove self-education. So if you want to prove, if you want to have a paper, that's only formal education, unfortunately. So life is hard.
Yeah.
And
agree.
sometimes your self-education is more of a high quality than formal education, but there is no way to prove it. So you're stuck with what you have. I will just pay a little certificate. Yeah, you can pay for a certificate, but I don't know, to my mind, they're not that important. Okay, guys, so let's stop here. We're going to take a picture. So if you want to be in the picture, please turn on your camera, grab your cat, bring your dog. Oh my God, Dario, you have such a cute dog, and the way that he's hugging you or she's hugging you is just fantastic. We don't have Alexandra today with her fantastic cat, unfortunately. Anyways, grab a cat, grab a dog, or just grab yourself to be on the picture. Please turn on your camera if you want to be on the picture. We're going to take one screenshot today because today is not a lot of us. It's Monday. It's Saturday. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, sorry, that was long, but you know, I'm not very, very smart when it comes to dealing with computer stuff. Okay. Good. So guys, thank you so much for participating. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with your partners, and thank you so much for spending Saturday morning with me. Have a nice rest of the day and a nice weekend, and I will see you next time next week.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye, guys.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.